Assalamu my dudes, and welcome back to PLB Green. Today, I'm putting a bonsai forest on the back of a tortoise. The idea came to me a couple of months ago, and I drew it up on my sketchbook. Here it is. I'm going to build this on a smaller scale than I initially had planned, but I feel like a test run on a small scale is probably a good idea before I buy a giant tortoise. I started by gluing down some chunks of black lava rock to the back of this tortoise sculpture I bought online. It was a rather satisfying process trying to puzzle together each lava rock onto the shell. Very satisfying. I used a 100% black silicone for the adhesive, and every rock that I put in place I taped down with some masking tape. This was a bit of a long process as I had to wait for each of these rocks to dry in place before I could really attach the next. But after a few days I had built up a structure, and I just kept going up and up and up, being inspired by the Terry Pratchett Discworld novel Turtle with 4 elephants and a universe on his back. I added more details to the sculpture by putting in small pieces of black lava rock and putting in a dust of black lava rock on the adhesive, just to make sure it was disguised in the final build. The forest is going to be made up of these tiger bark ficus cuttings. They're an old build of mine, and now that they've rooted, I wanted to rehome them. After washing off their roots, I placed them in order of largest to smallest trunk base, and then fiddled around with them on top of the tortoise structure for anywhere between 1 to 2 hours. After making my final decision on the forest composition, I filled up the gaps with bonsai soil and decided that it was time to moss my tortoise island. I used a fern moss, and by dividing it up into small patches, I could once again puzzle together a scape of sorts, wrapping the moss around each of the tiger bark ficus trunks. Once satisfied, I sprayed it down with dechlorinated water just to make sure the ficus were well hydrated and the moss had a kickstart in their life as a tortoise island. I put in some fine details at the end, just some small pieces of black lava rock, and then it was time to move on to the base of the project. For this, I simply bought a charcoal plate from Target, drilled a hole through the ceramic, put down some mesh, and placed the tortoise on top. I wanted the roots from the tiger bark ficus to drape down the tortoise and into the base soil of the project. I went around and fed soil into the gaps, making sure that the roots were well and truly covered. I then went around and landscaped the base plate with other pieces of black lava rock and small patches of charcoal, dirt, leaves. I even tucked in some small bright green ferns just to make it look like a real life patch of a forest floor. I scattered some leaf litter and small bits of bark that I just got from outside, just to try and get it very textural and looking exactly like the forest floor. Here's the final product. I was really quite happy with this build, and I'm really looking forward to the ficus growing in and the roots that stream off the side of the tortoise mountain to thicken up and kind of make it look like it's been there for 1,000 years. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time on PLB Green.